Okay, we talked about this several weeks ago. It was a Bridgerton-themed event in Detroit that did not live up to expectations. It was terrible. People were expecting to be transported to the land of Bridgerton with horseback rides and carriages and fancy dinners and tea.
Funny thing about this period of time nobody talks about is they were dumping buckets of crap out.
Exactly. Do that. Set that up.
That's
A more realistic
Yeah, that's
Bridgerton.
real.
Everybody had lice.
Bring out your dead! When they
One
turned
bath a
up, it
week.
was a pretty empty banquet hall
Yeah.
Sad.
with sad chicken and green
Yeah.
beans.
They got ripped off.
And
Oh, they
lots of
did.
people complained about the fact that it did not at all live up to expectations. Well, who would have seen this coming? The woman that planned it in Detroit says she's been getting death threats. She had to move out of her house. Like, it has gone nuts because it has gone global of how bad it was.
Oh, yeah.
Here's her side of the story now from Fox 2 News.
The first week was the worst week.
Detroit event planner Chelsea Beard breaks her silence about the now infamous Bridgerton Ball event that went viral for all the wrong reasons. It led to her getting death threats and having to move out of her own home.
It literally went global. I've never seen anything like it, and it was a lot to deal with.
At what point did you tell yourself that you had to get up and get back out there?
After about 5 days, like I literally wasn't eating or anything and just isolated.
On September 22nd, Beard's then company, Uncle and Me LLC, hosted the ball at the Harmony Club in Detroit. You had a lot of people that showed up to this, and they were
Yes.
dressed.
Beautiful, beautiful people. I mean, they dressed amazing. They showed up and they showed out.
When did you find out that not everyone had the best time?
I found that out once, like, it started getting close to the event, and we wasn't finished putting up the decorations. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Some of the decisions that were made on that night, people didn't feel like they were in theme with the Bridgerton Ball. Can you speak on those decisions?
Yes, Courtney, Courtney is a professional. She's a professional dancer, acrobat, aerialist, and I entrusted someone from my camp to communicate with her for what she needed to do for that night.
It's a lady on a stripper pole doing stripper
she's a
dances.
So it was a miscommunication on our end with her. It is any fault of hers.
Beard says a big problem was switching venues last minute due to capacity issues.
And I basically went from a venue where I had everything and we had planned everything to a venue that had nothing. If I could go back to it, I would have pushed it out further.
I don't think event planning is for her.
Not
I don't
at all.
think she needs to find another
Absolutely.
thing to do.
Listen,
she
I
has very low energy too for an event planner.
yeah. Yeah.
I guess we got to put this backdrop up.
Listen, I don't know anything about
Did someone
Bridgerton.
get the stripper? Did someone tell the stripper?
I don't know anything about it.
Anyone get the chicken? Do we have the chicken and green beans?
Paper plates.
Just
Do we
that
get
bowl
the
of
paper
salad's fine.
plates?
Just put it in a bowl. put
That
it out
event
there.
looked like there was a Bridgerton event outside somewhere that everybody was
At before.
and it rained or something.
Yeah.
And then they all had to get inside.
Right.
Like I said, I don't know anything about Bridgerton. I don't know the time period really that it's in. It looks like old school. You had to have a real band. You had to have like
No, none of it made sense. A DJ, a stripper,
No.
like none of it. You
Like-
should have had like a band. You should have
Yes.
had entertainment, probably like people dressed up like that dancing or whatever.
Right.
Something.
Exactly.
None of
like
it
the same
lined up.
thing like at your wedding or like someone ringing bells and someone doing all that stuff. Like, oh, look how fancy it is here. You just fake fancy. It didn't look, they didn't fake
Yeah.
fancy. There was plastic cups with Kool-Aid.
Yeah. One
Yep.
green backdrop and a DJ and a stripper.
Yeah, Andy went to a fancier event over
Yes,
the
100%.
last weekend.
Yes,
and
there was a
then
xylophone there
you
that
know.
told you when the,
Xylophone.
So-
that was how fancy it was.
was
I was
very-
sitting there in my suit, and then all of a sudden this dude starts walking around going, doo, doo, doo. And I'm like looking around, and I'm like, nobody's really reacting to this? Is it normal? Is like that's just soothing to the rich people?
Yeah.
Andy was at the real life.
Yeah, he was at the
Yeah.
real
I
party.
get a suit. I learned so much about suits.
Yeah.
I got my suit and the white part of my shirt came out of the sleeve, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I started freaking out. I'm like, I got ripped off. Look at
No!
this. I'm like, it doesn't fit.
No, that's perfect.
That's
And I
right.
looked it up and I'm like, that's how it's supposed
You're
to be.
supposed
Yes.
to show.
Yeah.
Little tiny bit.
I'm like, that's how it's supposed to be.
Little
So,
tiny bit.
Yeah, the xylophone. I had to ask when I was like, excuse me. I was like, why does that man play the 4-bar xylophone? And they were like, that's the dinner bell, sir. And I was like, oh, well, thank you.
me. Yes, of course.
Well, then I think everybody thought I was
Good,
having
I was testing you.
an issue because I had to plug in like my vape. You know?
Oh.
So like I had
He goes to a ball.
so like
Anyone got a place to plug in my vape?
it's super fancy and I was being pure trash, right? I'm like, I gotta plug this bad boy in, got an addiction rolling.
Yeah.
No matter how fancy John Wick I look right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to plug this bad boy in. What do I do?
Some dessert.
And the staff at this place, it was so fancy. Like, I don't think they're supposed to like fraternize with people, right?
No, they're probably not even
I was
allowed
like,
to look.
excuse me, and they're like, ah!
Don't look at me.
Oh God! Okay, what do you need? I'm like, I gotta plug in my vape because I'm trash. And then I was like, can I plug it in there? They're like, probably not there. The DJ will be upset.
Oh, yeah.
So then the DJ comes over and talks to me about it, and then my girlfriend's like, what are you picking a song? What the hell are you talking to the DJ for 10 minutes
wish.
for? I'm like, gotta plug in my vape. Pure trash. Pure trash at a fancy event. What did you think?
Yeah, come on.
You know, I got the suit. What else do you want from me?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was like, I followed that xylophone because the dead look in his eyes as he did it was scary to me. I was like, I think they're gonna eat us. I was like, I think the rich people are gonna close the doors.
Yeah.
They're gonna eat us right now.
Close the doors.
I was like, I'm pretty sure that's what that means.
We've got one.
Is nobody else concerned? Is nobody else freaking out? There's a man with a 4-bar xylophone wandering around right now.
We found a man who plugged. I'm trying to deal with this. A man has plugged in a vape.
Excuse me.
It's time to eat him.
Oh no, they're mad at me about the vape. Oh God, Lord Greenbean to the dining room. Like, oh no. And I met,
Yeah.
I was outside, and I met a couple of listeners of the show. This guy was like looking at me like at the wedding for a while, and I was like, And then I go outside, and he comes up to me, and he's like, hey, if I say balls to you, that mean anything? And I'm like, yep, it's me.
Yeah.
I'm like, you found the leprechaun, no pot of gold.
Yep. Oh my God, that's amazing.
So funny.
I love it.
I don't believe I've ever heard this as a signal to
No,
like
never.
the dinner
It's
is
so
ready.
fancy.
It was too fancy for me. That's exactly how it was too. And I was like, why is everybody? I was like, this is how they do it. I was like, they're gonna gas us or something. I was like, something crazy's about to happen.
Yep. All your blood's gonna be drained. Oh
I was like,
yeah.
I'm gonna take a kidney or something.
Yeah.
What does that bell mean? I was like,
Yep.
you can't be doing that.
No, you're in the middle of an iced tea movie all of a sudden.
I was like, this is craziness.
They take you. You're on the run. You gotta escape.
That's the dinner bell, sir.
Oh,
You always
So
have
go
to.
upstairs then?
Yeah.
okay, perfect.
You always have to make sure if you're at one of these things, you then say, "Good, I was testing you."
Yes, I
to
just
see
wanted
if
to
you
see.
were what we were going to eat tonight.
See if you even knew what that was.
Yeah, exactly. That's you have to
And where
cover
do I
your
plug in my
tracks.
vape?
Cover your tracks.
Plug in my vape.
I gotta plug in
Yeah,
my
I
vape.
do. I did. I made a scene.
It's amazing.
I'm highly addicted to it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry,
Delicious.
everyone.
I would have loved if the music like stopped because Andy unplugged something to plug in
Yes.
his.
I know. I was scared of that.
Like
I
a
was
shock.
scared of that.
Everything.
Oh.
all
Like
the
I was
lights go
up there,
down.
and everybody was like, "New guy's doing something," you know. Because I'm like talking frantically to people, you know, and they're just like, "This guy, he's got problems." Huh?